Chapter 13, 12, Ransacking Frosty Peak. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Clan's Gu Immortals lost the spar and left without making a fuss. Fang Yuan stopped his transformation and returned to human form, returning to Frosty Peak. The mortal Gu house at Frosty Peak was taken away. Now only a snowy mountain remained with cold air emanating everywhere. Fang Yuan sighed softly. His heart was calm, like a well without a ripple. Victories were not worth him treasuring and bragging. The so-called sense of glory had already left him long ago. For such an easy victory to have happened, it is because I had the advantage. Know yourself and your enemy, and you will never be defeated. The two Clan Gu Immortals did not know Fang Yuan's strength. They could only estimate it. On the contrary, Fang Yuan knew a lot about them. Whether it be their killer moves, temperament, or so on, he was thoroughly aware of them with the information from Clan. One could see how important information was in a battle between Gu Immortals. In fact, Fang Yuan's spar with the Clan Gu Immortals was like immortal Yan Huang defeating Wu Yubo. Both won due to better intel. Wu Yubo was powerful, but his trump card killer move was seen through by others. As a result, one careless move and all was lost. Fang Yuan had even more information. He advanced step by step through his layers of planning, finally making the Clan Gu Immortals retreat. Immortal killer move Vajra Shell is quite effective, but it won't be easy to have such a good result in the future. Clan's Gu Immortals would definitely compile their experiences and insights to think of a way to restrict or even decipher and counter Vajra Shell. Deciphering and countering was difficult, but creating a restrictive method was often easy. Wu Yi Hai will also become more famous. This divination, tortoise transformation, and immortal killer move Vajra Shell are quite remarkable, but once I use them a lot of times, there is a high chance someone will find a way to restrict or even nullify it. Actually, the same applies to reverse flow protection seal after the battle in Northern Plains. It is definitely being analyzed by the 10 great ancient sects, Longevity Heaven, Old Ancestor Shuhu, and others. I should be somewhat careful the next time I use it, especially against these people. Fang Yuan was vigilant. Wu Yubo was a clear example to him. It was not easy to create an immortal killer move, but a powerful immortal killer move could not remain stagnant. It needed to be advanced and modified along with time. As such, when others used restrictive measures or even fully resolved your killer move, you could effectively face them. But modifying and advancing an immortal killer move was naturally also a difficult matter. Other than a burst of inspiration, what was truly put to test was the Gu Immortals' attainment level. And the best way to raise one's attainment level is through dream realms. Fang Yuan's thoughts could not help but turn toward that giant dream realm again. Because of the widespread emergence of dream realms, there were all kinds of characters emerging one after the other during the 5 regions' chaotic war in Fang Yuan's previous life, creating a great era filled with chaos and disorder. Unfortunately, it has not been long since I joined Clan. Making a firm request to go to the Super Gu formation would be suspicious. Although the matter of this Frosty Peak has ended, who knows when I can go back to the giant dream realm. It is better to deal with the matters at hand and otherwise go with the flow. Fang Yuan pondered while landing on Frosty Peak. This mountain peak was abundant in ice path resources. He still had not properly searched it. Fang Yuan had gotten this rare opportunity after chasing away the Clan Gu Immortals. He naturally would not give it up. Snow filled Frosty Peak, and the air was frighteningly cold. In the depths of this accumulated snow dwell large numbers of insects, including many wild goo worms, as well as cold-resistant vegetation. They mutually formed a balanced ecology. Frost jades. Fang Yuan soon had harvests. A large number of frost jades appeared in his investigative perception. These frost jades were hidden below the thick snow, below the rocky ground. Frost jades are only a rank 5 goo material, but they have some frost jade essence inside, which is a rank 6 immortal material. Without any hesitation, Fang Yuan began collecting them. Rumble! The snow splattered everywhere, revealing the bare surface of the rocky ground. Soon these rocks also flew everywhere, and revealed the frost jades hidden in the mountain. These frost jades were white, with some green hue mixed within. They released intense frost energy, but naturally they were harmless to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan picked up the frost jades in this area. Fang Yuan naturally did not give up the frost jade essence inside. It was just that he did not extract them, and they were still inside the center of the giant frost jades. Next, Fang Yuan started searching throughout Frosty Peak. Enormous frost jades were dug out one after the other. The smallest frost jade was already the size of an elephant, while the bigger ones were the size of large ships. Almost every frost jade had frost jade essence inside it. Some frost jade essences were bigger, and there were even 1,000-year frost jade essences, which were rank 7 goo materials. It was not that no one had discovered these frost jades, but they were intentionally preserved by Wu Clan to maintain the foundation of this Frosty Peak. It was these frost jades that formed the foundation of Frosty Peak. Without them, Frosty Peak would not be such a special and remarkable resource point. Fang Yuan took away most of the frost jades. Not only this, he also plundered many wild goo worms. There was no need to think about immortal goo. Normally speaking, Frosty Peak could only produce rank 6 immortal goo once in several hundred years to 1,000 years. If there were really wild immortal goo, Xia Clan's goo immortals would not have accepted their defeat so easily. The majority of these goo worms were of ice path. There were also some of earth path and water path. Among the ice path goo worms, most of them were called cold wave goo. This type of goo worm formed groups and would often roam around in Frosty Peak. Thus, a severe wave of cold would spread out from Frosty Peak. This was also the reason for Frosty Peak's name. After he finished plundering, Fang Yuan flew to the air and took a last glance at this Frosty Peak. The picturesque Frosty Peak, filled with white snow, was now filled with pits of different depths, with rocks and debris filling the area. Not only was the scenery destroyed, the value of resources in Frosty Peak had dropped by over half, and because of the huge deficit, Frosty Peak's foundation was greatly damaged. If I use pulling mountain immortal goo, I might be able to pull this mountain and store it in my sovereign blessed land. Unfortunately, I can't do that at the moment. My identity is Wu Yihai, a Wu Clan member. I made huge profits this time by embezzlement. This has already reached the limits of righteous path's unwritten rules and cannot be continued. If I really pulled the mountain, not to mention exposing my true identity, I definitely cannot justify my actions to Wu Clan. Fang Yuan inwardly sighed and did not dwell on this as he flew away rapidly. Soon his figure disappeared in the clouds. Several days later, Fang Yuan returned to Wu Clan's headquarters and met Wu Yong. It is all thanks to you, brother, for protecting Frosty Peak for the clan and deterring those thieves. Wu Yong revealed an appreciative look towards Fang Yuan. You flatter me. It was only a fluke. Fang Yuan replied modestly. Elder Wu Fa, have you evaluated it? My brother's contribution was not a simple one. We should think in the perspective of the bigger picture. Wu Yong turned towards another Wu Clan Goo Immortal. This Wu Clan Goo Immortal had an ordinary appearance, but his status was anything but ordinary. He was Wu Yong's trusted aide and was in charge of calculating the rewards and punishments for all the Goo Immortals in the clan. Wu Fa spoke with a slight frown. We have already seen Lord Wu Yihai's bravery. With this battle, Lord's name will definitely spread throughout southern borders Goo Immortal world. But if we talk about rewards, on one hand, Lord Wu Yihai has not completely settled this problem and only set a 5-year agreement. On the other hand, Frosty Peak has been viciously plundered. Its foundation has been damaged, and its value has greatly reduced. Oh, such a thing happened to Frosty Peak? Wu Yong turned towards Fang Yuan with a surprised look. Fang Yuan sighed. I also did not expect Xia Clan's Goo Immortals to be such horrible people. Wu Yong frowned slightly. Brother, did you personally see Xia Clan's Goo Immortals looting Frosty Peak? I did not. It is just my guess. Maybe it was other lone cultivators? Fang Yuan replied with no flaw in his argument. Wu Yong nodded and spoke after a brief silence. Since that is the case, Elder Wu Fa shall make the final decision. Elder Wu Fa calculated for a while before giving a detailed list to Fang Yuan.